Oh.
Cue talent.
Hello. We're here with Cemetery Administrator Robbin Kelley, and she is going to tell us about a very exciting project regarding the Island Pond Cemetery.
So the cemetery commissioners and myself have been starting the process of turning Island Pond Cemetery and the surrounding properties into an arboretum.
Can you tell us exactly where Island Pond Cemetery is, first of all?
Sure. If you were in Harwich Center, you'll see the church, and then you'll see the funeral home, and then you'll see the monument dealer. So in between the funeral home and the monument dealer is a road called Island Pond Road, so it goes right through the bike trail, right in Harwich Center.
Okay, so it is one of how many cemeteries in Harwich? You have a number that you're administering,
we have
right?
18 cemeteries.
Okay, but you're doing this Arboretum project, especially with Island Pond, which sounds so wonderful.
Yes. So I'm working with Amy Uzowski. She's our conservation agent, and she has been doing a lot of the technical information. So all of the trees that are in Island Pond will have to be identified with their common name, their scientific name, and then maybe some other characteristics, where it was originally from. The Cape Cod Regional Technical High School kids went out and indexed the trees for us, and Amy is doing verification. And then the Cape Cod Tech kids will be making the actual stands to identify the trees.
So you're getting a lot of other people involved.
Oh yeah, so it's
great.
Yeah, so in the process as well, we are creating a map of Island Pond, and we want to have pictures. So I actually just got yesterday to Monomoy Regional High School students who wanted to volunteer to take photographs of both the trees, and we also have all of the birds listed. We're working off of a previous grant that the Conservation Trust did a couple years back, where they identified all the trees, the uplands, the wetlands, and all of the wildlife that was in the area. So we're going to include all of the birds for all of our bird watchers, because if you've ever been in Island Pond, we have so many bird houses. There's a lot of birds that are in Island Pond.
So it will be a destination for all kinds of people interested in plants and animals and just being in the beauty of nature, it sounds like.
It is, and part of being an arboretum is it has to be an education. It has to have an educational component. So we're trying to get certified to become a recognized arboretum in the United States, and we would be a level 1 arboretum. Part of that is you have to partner with a school district or a teaching facility. So Monomoy Regional School District curriculum director, Mrs. Blanchette, had asked if she could. She was very excited about the project, and she is working with me to develop programming for different grades, like the 3rd grade, the 5th grade, the 8th grade, on anything from environmental things up to art. So I don't know that a lot of people realize that the monumentation in the cemeteries are done and have different symbolism, and there is different artwork there. So I guess they're going to have the art students go over and study maybe some of the symbolism, maybe sketch some of the monuments. And we're doing a history project with actually some of the people that work at Brooks Academy are helping me do some history of some of the people that are buried there, so that we can do walking tours on different people from the Harwich history. So,
wow. So it's a really big project. Now, the only arboretum in a cemetery that I'm familiar with is the Mount Auburn Cemetery.
yes.
Up in Cambridge.
Yes. So I was on a board with Jim Holman, which is one of the, he's pretty high up there in Mount Auburn. So he has given me a lot of guidance on how to proceed in becoming an arboretum, and what different projects will work and probably won't work. They're obviously a very large scale arboretum, and they have a huge friends group, which does a lot of their work on their arboretum projects.
So speaking of doing a lot of the work, I know you've talked about the partnership with the schools and the Brooks Academy, and are you looking for volunteers who might be interested in helping in any way? Would you like people
I
to...
would love volunteers. So we are doing several different projects, and we need volunteers. We have to have all of the birds photographed. I mean, we have some high school students that are working to do it, but I would love it if somebody in the community was either a bird watcher or something to, you know, already have photographs in Island Pond, if they could share them with us for our brochure. We'll be creating walking maps in the cemetery with pictures of all the trees and the foliage, and we also are going to be creating future plantings. So we have to come up with a plan of future plantings each year, and I'm working with Amy on that project. This Arbor Day, she'll be getting us new trees to put in the cemetery that we don't currently have. Part of being an arboretum is you had to have at least 25 species of trees to even be considered. We already had 33 that were identified, so we're over that limit, but the more trees that we have that our students can study, I think would be, and everybody else. I mean, there's so many people who would love to just walk in there and learn about. You're never too old to learn about it stuff. So never
Absolutely
too young,
not.
and you're never
too
old.
young either. Right?
Yeah,
Well, it sounds like an absolutely fabulous project. What is the timeline on it?
So right now I am starting to get all the brochures, which I will be uploading onto the Harwich website. The first one will be on the different species of trees that we have in there, and the second one will be on the birds. I am currently writing a grant to try to get federal funding to help us with our plan for future expansion of trees in gardens within there. Amy is working on creating a butterfly garden at the entrance, so as you come in the cemetery, we'll have a nice butterfly garden for the kids and other people to view. But the final thing that we want to do is to create an online mobile app. So the mobile app will be a self-guided, either tours or instructional thing that people, if they were visiting Harwich, they could just go in. They could pull up the app, and if they wanted to see the trees, they would pull on the tree app, the different part of the app that would identify the trees, or they could do the bird one, or if they wanted to do someone in Harwich history, they could, they could go in front of, say, they were in front of George Weeks, they could pull up, they were in front of the monument, they could click on it, and it would say, hi, this is George Weeks, I was born in 1684, I moved to Harwich and was the first preacher, and I married Deborah Wing. He is the first person buried in the cemetery in 1770, even though the cemetery wasn't founded until 100 years later, 1872. So the cemetery existed for over 100 years before it even became a town.
A formal cemetery.
Yes.
I see.
So
Well, I know you're a genealogist as well,
Yeah.
and so you have lots of information, but
Yes.
this is such a wonderful new way of utilizing that beautiful space and honoring the people who were buried there, and it's just another wonder of the Harwich community.
Yes.
One of the many wonders of Harwich.
Yes.
And,
I think it'll be great for people because it's located right on the bike trail. So when people are riding on the bike trail, we're going to have interpretive signage right at the entrances, so whether they go on the conservation land, which the Conservation Commission has allowed us to use in part of this Arboretum, or they go into the cemetery, they'll be able to pull right off from the bike trail and be able to enjoy it. So I think it's going to have a lot of visitors, I'm assuming.
I'm sure it will. A lot of people involved in creating it also, and then many, many people who will enjoy it for many years to come. So thank you so much, Robbin, for coming in and telling us about it, and we look forward to an update soon.
Oh, yeah. Thank you. Thank you for having me.